Welcome to Around the House Northwest, presented by PGE and Oregon Kind of Energy.
Hey guys, welcome back for another edition of Around the House Northwest here on Fox 12 Plus. I'm Eric G. You know, each week we like to show you a little bit of everything when it comes to your house and what's in it. It could be our Made in Northwest segment, highlighting the many things that are crafted locally, or our Perform Like a Pro segment, showing you how to start and finish a project the right way. Today we're going to cover a wide range of products to help you give ideas for your next project. I'll be touring the Metro Paint facilities in North Portland and talking with a good friend, William White, about the basics of cleaning tile. We'll also check in with Pest and Pollinator about the wasp, hornet, and yellow jacket issues we're having these last few weeks. Before that, I got a great way for you to save water and super easy to install. Let's check it out.
Now it's time for Perform Like a Pro, sponsored by The Wall.
All right, guys, today we're going to start the process of remaking over my backyard. And the first thing, I want irrigation. Tired of dragging hoses around, so today we're installing the Irrigreen Smart Irrigation System. Now, I could go around and put in a standard traditional system, which means I've got to put in about 25 sprinkler heads or so back here. But with this, I'm doing it in 2, which means a lot less work. And it's going to save me some money as well in the water. So our first step, I've got it planned out, which was the easy part with 2 heads. I got to dig some trenches, get some pipe in the ground so we get water these things. That's where we're going to start today. Couple things. Now make sure that you let the machine do the digging. I had a wider trench here, so I just did 2 runs with the machine, so it makes for a wider hole. Now the other thing is I'm not putting this very deep because I'm putting 6 inches of dirt over the top of this of topsoil. So I want to have the sprinkler stuff at least a foot underground so it's a little more protection during the winter time when things freeze, or if anybody's out here playing. The last thing you want to do is have a broken pipe, so a little deeper is always good. But remember, before you get this far, call before you dig. Make sure you're not digging up any utilities or gas lines or anything like that. That's never a good thing, and it's free. All right, so what's the first thing you do when you come up with a sprinkler system? You have to design it, and it's easy. Just jump over to Irrigreen's website. You can type in your address, and they're gonna use like a Google Earth view type of thing, satellite, and they can design out the system right from that. So it's really easy. You don't even have to get your tape measure out. If you have trees like I do where I couldn't do that, they can sure help you get it designed anyway. But it's really simple. Now what's different with this system is that there's no solenoid, so you don't have to control the water going out to the sprinklers. So the sprinkler line is powered all the time, so there's always water pressure there. So what you have to do is have a control line that goes to the sprinkler. And it has a traditional box like this that controls everything, and then everything else is from the app. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run pipe over to here so we can hook up to the water, and I've got to tape this along with it because this needs to go in the same hole, so that way we have all the controls of the sprinklers so it knows what to do. All right, so this system here absolutely bypasses a traditional sprinkler control here. So what I'm going to do is come right off of this and drop right down so I have water pressure all the time. So I already have the pipe there. I'm just going to glue an elbow on and hook it right into here, and then we're looking good. All right guys, couple secrets. Make sure you got plenty of fittings. Like on this, there was a lot of things that I didn't plan ahead because I had to dig around rocks and stuff. So get all the right pieces first. It'll save some trips to the store. I'm going to start cutting some pipe here. Let's get these fittings on. Now don't be concerned when you're putting pipe fittings together if you get a little bit of dirt inside the pipe. The last thing we do before we hook sprinklers up is we're going to flush it out, so that dirt's going to get pushed out anyway. So don't sweat those little details. All right, a couple things different with this Irrigreen system here is that we have the hose, and this is what hooks it up into the system. But you don't use Teflon tape on it because there's a nice little gasket on the inside here, an O-ring. But I want to get this kind of just mocked up. We're not going to put this together this way now, but I just want to have it together so we can see how this is going to go together. All right, now the control wire is an important part of this whole procedure. This here is going to go in the same hole and follow it out to all the sprinklers. And then when it'll go into the sprinkler, it'll go out and onto the next sprinkler. So just follow the instructions. Everything's labeled. These red things mean that they go towards the controller. So just always remember that little detail. All right guys, now here's the thing. This doesn't have to be insulated. It's already ready, direct burial, no conduit, no nothing. Just drop it in the hole with the sprinkler. Good to go. One little tip before you fill this back in at the end, take pictures of where you've got the pipe out there, measure away from things, so if you ever have to come back and service it, you know where the pipe is down the road. It's a quick, easy little fix for a later repair. All right, in a second, we're gonna hook all these cables up. Now, here's the cool part with this. I'm gonna use one of these 6-inch sprinkler boxes so we have access to it. So with this system, you can also put a valve in here if you have a lot of these. You can put that in line to control it if you needed to turn this one off to repair or service. This one, I've just got one main valve. I can turn it off there. But what we'll do is this is a great place to collect all these wires up. So when we bury this back in, I can put this in right here and it'll cover up those connections and then we'll be good to go. They will be watertight, but that way you can find them if you need to work on them. All right, make sure you're following the directions on this, but the next step is to put in the controller. And we're gonna mount it right here above the unit, right where we want it. So we're gonna put this bracket in here. All right, one of the more important things right now is you don't want to plug these sprinklers up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash all the dirt out that I accidentally got in it when I was gluing the pipe together. So let's give this about a 5 count and wash all that water out. All right, line's flushed. Next step, let's get those sprinklers hooked up so we can get this thing set up. I'm so excited to adjust this thing and get it all dialed in. One mistake that's easy to make, because I just made it, make sure that you put this on after you've flushed it out. That way you don't spin these wires around and get them all tangled up. So we're gonna screw this in. Like I said, there's an O-ring, so they say do not use Teflon tape. All right, one thing about this controller, it has to have at least 4 bars of Wi-Fi signal. So wherever you put it, make sure your Wi-Fi is dialed in so it can communicate, because this thing needs all the Wi-Fi it can get. All right, next step on this is to go through and connect up to my network. I really got to get this dialed in, and I'm happy I got it right where I have it because I got 4 bars right here. So it'll take a minute to sync up the data. Our next step is going to be to go out there and start adjusting the sprinklers, and that's the fun part. All right, the first thing we're going to do is set up on the app here to make sure it knows what we're watering, which is today going to be grass because that's what's going in here. And then you have to set up your soil type so it knows how much and how well to water it, because if you have clay, if you water, it's just going to run right off. So sometimes it'll have to come on 2 or 3 times to water it correctly so you're not wasting water. And then the next one here, we're going to go through and do the sun type. How much sun is here so it can relate, because it's going to look at the weather, how hot it is, and whether it's shade or sun depends on how much water it's actually going to put on the ground. All right, guys, now the reason why I have this mounted so high is I still got a lot of soil to move in here, but that's another project. But today, in just a couple hours, I installed a killer in-ground sprinkler system that I know you can tackle.